Welcome to College Town Talk. I'm Shan Stout. I'm Shan Stout.
Do you mind, Shan? I'm trying to read a book.
Jonathan, we're about to do an interview for the show.
Yes, I know. And our guest today is Kelly McAllister, the Dean of the Volpe Library at Tennessee Tech. She's worked in higher education and library science for more than 20 years, so I want her to think I'm studious and well-read.
Are you reading one of the Twilight novels?
It's for research. Anyway, Dean McAllister, welcome to College Town Talk.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so happy to be here. And Team Edward all the way.
Well, we've got so much we want to ask you about today, but let's start with the decision to come here to Tennessee Tech. I got the chance to interview you when you were appointed to this role in 2024. You've been here now a little more than a year. So what made you say yes to coming to Tennessee Tech and to Cookeville? And what has the experience been like so far?
Oh, thank you. There were a lot of reasons for coming to Tennessee Tech. I had grew up in the military and I traveled around a lot. And so if you look at my resume, I've lived in various different states and worked at other schools. But we had, my family and I had stayed at Appalachian State for 12 years. And we felt it was time to go. You know, I had just finished my doctorate and I had been the associate dean for about 5 years during COVID, which felt like 10, as you know. And so I was ready to kind of move up to the last and final kind of on my career journey to be a dean. And so when I found out that Tech was hiring, I thought, well, why not? You know, I grew up with engineers. It skipped me, went right to my kids. And so when I applied for the job and I came here and I thought, oh, well, this place is great. And I really liked Cookeville because there's civilization here. There's a Home Goods and a TJ Maxx and
all the things a girl needs.
All the
We're getting a
things,
Target.
you know, and a Target. I mean, I'm on that Facebook
Your
page.
life's
You know,
complete now.
it really is. You know, when you live on top of a mountain for 12 years, you miss certain things. But yeah, and the experience has just been really great. I mean, I just we're just really happy to be here, and I've finally decided that I'm good. I'm not going anywhere until I retire, and then I don't know where that's going to be. But
And that's a compliment because, you know, you live the nomadic lifestyle and you get used to that. That is your normal. And I'm really jealous about that because my family, we are all very rooted. I mean, I call my mother Smother because she wants anyone that lives within more than a mile from her house, we're like traitorous, right? Because she wants all her little baby chicks under her wing right there. And so I live the farthest away now. So I'm like the black sheep of the family.
do they still talk to you?
Barely.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm
because
sorry.
I'm 18 miles, 18 whole miles. So, I mean, I am really, you don't know, I've just fallen off the grid. I could move to the middle of Africa. It would feel the same to Smother. I'm just saying.
You know, I see that. My mother lives in Maryland, and you'd think I lived in the other side of the world. So
I
yeah,
feel you. I feel you. So you're just kind of my hero. I mean, like you're
thank
doing
you.
all the things. Now, Dean McAllister, I want to talk a little bit about the beautiful workplace you get to be in every single day.
I do.
The Angelo and Jeanette Volpe Library. It first opened, I've done my research, it first opened in 1989 and is more than 100,000 square feet. That's hard for me to imagine. Housing more than 600,000 books and providing access to nearly 90,000 journals through more than 100 databases. That's a whole lot. And if that's not enough, it's also home to the newest location of a local favorite, Poets Coffee, the best thing ever. So for listeners who may be unfamiliar, what would you want them to know about this special place on Tech's campus?
Oh, that's great. I will say that Poets Coffee has brought in a lot more numbers.
How could it not?
Yeah, our gates have expanded, I think doubled since they got here. Well, there are some unique areas in the building that people aren't familiar with. So when I first got here, I heard about the Dirt Room. Have you heard about the Dirt Room?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So where the Archives and Special Collections is now, it used to be a room filled with dirt. I mean, literally, they had to move all of this dirt
That's
out.
the name. It is literal.
It was literally the Dirt Room. And I think they were really scared that there might have been some things buried in there, but thankfully there was not. It was okay. So the whole area just was, they moved the dirt out. They were able to build the special collections. And then underneath my office is a space that you're not allowed to go into, but I did get to sneak in there once. And it looks like the bows of the Titanic. It's huge pipes pipes and water pipes, and it growls and snarls and moves the whole office around. It's awesome. They say it's very safe. But there's a lot of little nook and crannies in the building that a lot of people aren't familiar with, and there's some history there. So it's never a dull moment.
And I love how they've kept the space really updated. And I mean, it's changed even just from when I was a student and now having Poets Coffee there. And then you've got, I know, the Center for Global Experiences is there,
that's been
the
great.
Launchpad Student Success Center. So it really is. I remember at the ribbon cutting for Poets, President Oldham talked about it being a cultural hub for the university, and you really feel that when you go to the library. It's a great place on campus. I have a lot of memories there, and I enjoy going back now. But we've talked a little bit about the library itself. I want to ask you about its namesake. We had Joy McCaleb-Poteet on the program a little while ago. And she's, of course, a Tech alumna and adjunct instructor. And she mentioned that you had a chance recently to visit with Dr. Jeanette Volpe. As some of our listeners may know, Angelo Volpe was Tennessee Tech's 7th president, serving from 1987 to 2000, was beloved by many. He passed away in 2022, but our esteemed former First Lady, Dr. Jeanette Volpe, is still living. So tell us about that visit that you got to have with her.
Well, it was so unexpected, and I would say it was probably the best day, my best work day so far, being able to meet with her, because I think I had mentioned earlier that I had never been to Tech. I was not a student here. I didn't have any relatives that went. Now, my daughter's a student now, so I feel like I'm part of it. But I had been reading about the history of Tech and reading about the history of Dr. Volpe and Dr. Derryberry. And so to find out that she was in Cookeville and there was the opportunity to meet and speak with her was just amazing. She's kind, she's gracious, she's brilliant. I mean, she has degrees in nursing and religion and quite the scholar in her own right. And so getting the opportunity to meet with her was kind of getting an opportunity to also meet Dr. Angela Volpe, which unfortunately I never got the chance to. But she's just incredibly kind, and everything that everyone says about her is absolutely true. And I've been invited to go back and visit, so I hope to take advantage of that as much as I can. And ideally, I would love to get her to come see the library. So she says she's interested, so we'll just have to get that worked out. But yeah, she's a big inspiration. In fact, one of the things that we're doing is we're building a huge donor tree on one of our walls where we're going to have a quote from her and her husband. And we are going to have, as the leaves will be the names of donors and retirees and people who have worked. Lovely. And we'd love to get a big, there's a big, beautiful oil painting of Dr. Angela Volpe. So we are looking to get one of Dr. Jeanette Volpe because he was very adamant that the building would be named after her too. So we want to celebrate both of them.
Oh, well,
she's like our patron saint.
I love anything to do with legacy and
yes,
honoring people that have had an impact across, the length of time for, especially with the university, you see not only so many namesakes, but so much impact. And we have conversations all the time where when we ask, how did Tennessee Tech impact your life? And you just hear so many broad spans of answers, but it's usually a human connection answer.
Exactly.
So I love that piece. And speaking of human connection, we have a different type of connection. Dean McAllister, if I did not adore you already, this next topic is going to seal the deal because you are a volunteer with Animal Rescue.
I am.
You have 3 cats, 3 dogs, including a basset hound named after a very famous Tennessean. So how did you get involved with this wonderful cause, and what can you tell us about your 4-legged children?
Oh, my goodness. Do we have all day? It's actually 5 cats now that my daughter's moved back home. So the first time I lived in Tennessee, I worked at a school in Memphis. It was my first official library job. And I became a huge Elvis Presley fan. And there is family lore about Elvis. Now, I don't know how much of it's true, and I'm sure if my family's listening, they're rolling their eyes, but my grandmother swears up and down. She was born and raised in Oxford, Mississippi, and they used to go to this skating rink all the time. And she said that this man would always ask her out, and she would always turn him down because she said he was poor, he was from Tupelo, she didn't have any prospects, and her boyfriend at the time had been to Texas. Well, it turns out the boyfriend was my grandfather who had joined the military. This was right after the war, and basically Elvis Presley asked her out, and she said no. And I was like, what? I'm like, I could have been Elvis Presley's granddaughter. So,
Sorry, Grandpa.
Yeah, thanks, Granddaddy. But she ended up traveling the world with my grandfather in the Navy. But so how much of that is true is I don't know. But when I did get to Memphis, of course, the first thing we went to was Graceland, and I was hooked. I came out like the biggest super fan ever. And so I always wanted a Basset Hound. And so I had, when I went to Bethel College, I worked there in McKenzie, Tennessee. So that was the second round that we lived in Tennessee. I got involved in the McKenzie Humane Society there. And so I would have dogs and cats and chickens that we would foster and ended up adopting. And so hounds have kind of always been a part of my life. And so my current one, Elvis, was literally dropped out of the sky, literally. I found him on a road, running on a back road in Appalachian Mountains, and he hopped in my car and became a dog. And so he's been with us ever since. I think Jonathan and I bonded over him, honestly.
We absolutely
we
did.
really did. But at the time, I was working with the Carolina Basset Rescue, and that's a North Carolina, South Carolina group that help with elder Basset Hounds. They go and they rescue them out of humane societies and pounds. And so the job that I did was we would drive our car down to Hickory. And so if there was a hound getting adopted from Knoxville to, say, Columbia, you would drive your truck to Hickory. We'd all meet at a Home Depot. I'd put the hound in my car. I'd drive over to Winston-Salem where I'd meet someone there, and they would take the hound and put it in their car. And then we would just like hounds going across the South back and forth to their new homes. And I didn't adopt one from them, but Elvis was meant to be.
Well, see, I love that because we actually have that in common. You had a Basset Hound. You have a Basset Hound named Elvis, and I rescued a cat who had to be at least 100 years old and named him Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers didn't say meow, he said ow. And so it was like he was just he was literally, his hair was graying. He was so old.
Did you wear a little sweater?
Yes. At Halloween, we would put Mr. Rogers in a little red sweater, which he hated. So anyway, I don't think that my pet rescue was as cool as yours, but Mr. Rogers was happy to have me, except around Halloween.
Well, and when I interviewed Dean McAllister for our news release when you were coming to the university, and you're always trying to kind of mine for details about you want to be able to talk about people's passions outside of work and what they do, and she mentioned that. And I thought, okay, this is a good person that we're getting here at Tennessee Tech because I so respect anybody that devotes their time to animal rescue. And you may know, I mean, there's kind of a community here at Tech. We have interviewed Elizabeth Sophia on this program.
I thoroughly enjoyed her podcast.
Yeah, and she just, I mean, all of the work she's done with our local spay and neuter clinic and with, it's called Cats, Caring About the Strays. She's another one of those people in the community that has just devoted herself outside of work to animal rescue. And I just, of course, and I mentioned to you when I interviewed you that I had a rescue Basset Hound mix. And so I loved hearing about Elvis. But He
can visit you anytime.
I look forward to it.
Playdate, Jonathan,
I've got to meet him. So going from dogs and cats to a different kind of animal.
Taking a dippy and unexpected twist.
I would be remiss not to ask about a big event that's happening. It is happening at Tennessee Tech tomorrow, but folks will hear this podcast after the event has already passed, and that is the inaugural Watergate Roach Run. And this is such a kind of a quirky and fun event that has been organized by University Archives and Special Collections, which is part of the library. And we want to give a shout out to Megan Atkinson and Shonia George, who have put together this great event. What can you tell us about the Watergate Roach Run?
Wow. Okay, so this is going to be Amazing. We're not roach people, but we have learned to love them. So basically, they found in the archives a story about a roach named Watergate back in 1986, I want to say, who a tech person enrolled him in a roach race in Florida. And so Watergate got to Florida and he won. And so just as he kind of crossed the finish line and was enjoying the glory, he got eaten by a lizard, which was very sad, but added to the tale. And so we decided, Special Collections decided, is like, oh, we're going to bring this back. So Megan actually had one. She and Rob Wright, who also works in the library, they built a roach run. A beautiful one, actually. And it's going to be in the stadium tomorrow at 4 with the Jumbotron. And everybody can submit it's not too late. So if y'all are interested, you can absolutely do this. But you have to write a little bio, give them a little name. But you can submit your roach. And so we're going to have a series of races until we get to the final 8 that win. And then we're going to have one big race. And then there is a roach trophy, which will be coveted. I want it really bad for the dean's office. It's going to be great. But it gets better. We have been invited to be in the homecoming parade. So we are going to be dressed as roaches. Elvis will be there dressed as the lizard. I will be a can of Raid because I am a little weary of roaches. And we'll be giving out plastic roaches and dum-dums in the parade, and it's going to be great. But it's just become this huge, crazy thing. But it's been a lot of fun. It's definitely been a different October for sure.
And I hate that the podcast will be coming out after the fact, but we'll encourage people to
come to the parade
and come in 2026 because I think this is going to be an annual event.
Yeah, and we're going to have a whole budget index for this, I think.
Wow.
But we were talking before we started recording about what a great storyteller Megan Atkinson, our university archivist, is, and she was. We did our listeners may, if they read our written stories, they've probably already heard about this because we did a story a little while back. But I mean, first of all, if I am remembering correctly, I know she said it was student journalists for the Oracle, and because I asked her about the name, they named the roach Watergate because if I have this right, that was a bugging. The hotel was bugged.
That's right.
That's funny.
So they named the roach Watergate, and the campus sort of in an ironic sort of comical way. I mean, went into mourning after this roach. They retired to Jersey. They had a memorial service.
Oh my goodness.
They had like a reception and cake. I mean, this was a big thing in 1986. And so I love that we're bringing it back for a new generation, and it's fun and it's quirky. And Bob Luna, who we've also had on the show, is going to be the announcer. And
that's when we knew we hit it big.
Yes. Anything with Bob Luna is going to be a good event.
Lot of fun.
So let's just hope that there's no rain.
Okay, so now that we've got all of our roach questions out of the way, it's time for a few rapid fire questions. So, Dean McAllister, I want you to just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, deep breath.
Okay.
Number 1, favorite place on Tennessee Tech's campus besides the Volpe Library?
That's a good one. I have an electric scooter because once I got here, I saw all the students had electric scooters, and I was like, I want one. So anytime I am on my scooter, and that's how I have given myself a tour of campus, I just drive my scooter all around the various different places. So I think you could see me a lot on the quad. I look like the Witch of the West. I mean, honestly, I need to just make it look like a broom. But yeah.
This year's Halloween costume.
I think it should be. I can totally do that.
Okay, next up. If you weren't in this line of work, what is something else you think you might have done as a career?
I love this question because I started out as a line cook to pay my way through college. And all I want to do is go back and be a line cook. So I would go full circle with all of the student loans that came after. But I would go back and make blackened mahi fettuccine Alfredo again. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do in my retirement.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a good cook once I won.
My son loves that as well. Okay. Favorite local spot in Cookeville?
Waterloo Falls. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tourism, yes.
Love it. So we get on our big my daughter calls them water donuts, but floaties. And we just lay there and we just let the water run over us. And that has been our favorite place. But we like to go to all the various different waterfalls.
Oh, but it is beautiful
it
and
is
very peaceful.
It is
there.
very peaceful.
Okay, next up, we need a verdict on this debate. Does listening to an audiobook count as reading? Oh, please count, please.
Okay,
please
I had to
count.
think about this because I have to ask that with a question. Does listening to a podcast feel like reading?
I mean, it is similar
that's
to an
deep.
audiobook.
That's deep.
See, my 12-year-old asked that question, so shout out to you, Maddie.
See, because here's my issue on that debate. I want a book, an actual book to read, but I can only do that on vacation because I have to multitask. And so after work, I'll take 45 minutes to walk around the new fairgrounds and just kind of stretch my legs. So while I do that, I'm listening to an audiobook. So I'm kind of multitasking, whereas I could not read a book and walk at the same time. And so anyway, I'm a hybrid now, but I love the feel and the smell of a book. I mean, I started out in publishing. It's just the whole experience. But
I
don't
say anytime you are listening, watching, or reading, it counts. It counts.
We've got an official
It
verdict.
There you
absolutely
go.
counts.
There you
It's
go from an
probably
expert,
not a
Jonathan.
popular verdict from my other librarians, but I will say any time. I think absolutely.
Well, and you know, also you're paying just as much for an audiobook
you
when you
are.
are purchasing a book or an audiobook. I mean, I just paid $18 for an audiobook yesterday, and so I feel like it should count.
Now, what are you reading?
What am I reading right now? I am reading, it's called The Time Method.
Ooh.
And so I just started it, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not. I give a book 3 chapters before I give up on it.
Now, is it fiction or is it
So,
kind of a how-to?
It's kind of a motivational. It's not exactly, I don't know what category, because it's not exactly self-help, but it's kind of a storytelling of progressive things where people have happy endings, sad endings. It's just kind of life stories. So I find that interesting to kind of learn from other people, good and bad.
Yeah,
We've got an official verdict now from the dean
Yes,
of the library.
yes.
So that you just helped because my book count has risen a lot now that I know the audiobooks count for this
Oh,
year.
yeah, I carry my Kindle everywhere. And yeah, audiobooks, they count. They're
count.
books.
Okay.
They were written.
Finally, Dean McAllister, we like to end every interview on the show with the same question, and that is, what is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
It has given me and my family community. You know, when you grow up moving from place to place, as I did, with my military background, and my husband is a preacher's kid, so he moved around a lot too. And in all of the places that we lived in, we never really felt community until we moved here. And it was instantaneous. And that's one of the things about Tennessee. It's just the people here are always just very kind and giving and open, and so I'm happy to say, which is why this will be the last place I stay until I retire. It's just been the whole welcoming vibe that everyone has given us, both work and outside of work.
Well, that's good, because we want to keep you forever.
Thank you. I would like to stay as long as you all would keep me.
Well, I know that our listeners and a lot of people at Tech are hoping that you stay a very long time. Dean McAllister, thank you so much for being our guest today on College Town Talk.
Well, thank you. This has been the first podcast I've ever been on. I've been listening to them, so this has been so exciting. Thank you.
We're so honored.
And y'all are doing great work, because I like listening to your other ones too.
And for our listeners, if you're enjoying our show and hearing from incredible Tennessee Tech leaders like Kelly McAllister, would you do us a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get this podcast? It all helps to spread the word about the great things happening right here in Cookeville.
We'll meet you back here again next week for more conversations with the people who make Cookeville Tennessee's college town. College Town Talk is presented by Tennessee Tech University in partnership with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau. Your hosts are Jonathan Frank and Shan Stout, and original music is performed by Andrew Buckner. Visit us online at tntech.edu/collegetowntalk.